This man is being cured of type 1 diabetes, and just wait until I show you his blood sugar tracing that he sent me. This is Bruno from Montreal, and he is taking part in Vertex's trial to cure type 1 diabetes called VX880. There is something very special about this picture right here. You see, Vertex was able to figure out how to take stem cells and mature them into fully functioning islet cells, and they are able to reproduce those on a massive scale. For the last several decades, the countries that have been performing islet cell transplants have had to use human cadaveric islet cells, and there are only a very limited supply of those. Through Vertex's technology that they are right in the middle of developing right now, they will be able to mass produce islet cells that control people's blood sugar, just like in this bag. It's important to note that Bruno is on immunosuppression for this trial called tacrolimus, but Vertex is actively looking at cleaner alternatives to tacrolimus. I've made several videos about another drug called tegoprubart that they are looking at right now that is way, way better than tacrolimus. Vertex has not announced anything officially, but they have hinted several times that they are looking at alternatives to using tacrolimus, one of which I believe is tegoprubart. This drug is a CD40 ligand inhibitor, and it prevents the activation of T cells and B cells in the autoimmune destruction of the beta cell. Make sure you go watch the 3-part series that I did on tegoprubart. I will be releasing the 3rd part tomorrow. Here is a look at the unboxing of the very precious cells that are used for this trial. These are the cells that can be mass-produced for the entire world. So it's been about 6 months since Bruno has received this islet cell transplant, and I asked him if he would send me a tracing of his most recent blood sugar graph. So here it is. To those of you with type 1 diabetes or a family member with type 1 diabetes, you understand how incredible this graph looks. This looks like someone without type 1 diabetes. You can see that he ate a meal here, sugar bumped up a tiny bit, came back down. There's another meal here, went up a little more, came back down on its own, and then a meal here. You can barely even tell he ate. This gray graph is 75 to 180 blood sugar. That is absolutely incredible. He didn't take any insulin for any of that. So far, Vertex has announced that they have 9 patients in this trial that are completely off insulin, and Bruno will make 10. Vertex has announced that they will be dosing 50 patients just like Bruno, and we should have some really good data on them by about October, November of this year, hopefully. So Vertex is going to hopefully submit for FDA approval for this therapy next year in 2026, so that hopefully they can begin treating patients in 2027 with this therapy. The first patients that are going to be eligible for it are patients that are already on immunosuppression and patients that suffer from frequent, dangerous low blood sugars. And what I believe is going to happen is that down the road, they are going to start using tegoprubart, and that is going to open up the doors for many more patients to receive this therapy. That is just my personal belief. Why is tegoprubart so much better than tacrolimus, which is the current standard of care? Well, the beta cells perform about 4 to 5 times more effectively in producing insulin with tegoprubart. That's a big one right there. But the other really big one is that tegoprubart has not shown to have any of the nasty side effects that tacrolimus can cause down the road when you are on it for many, many years. This is a chart showing patients who have received a kidney transplant over time that are taking tacrolimus to prevent the graft failure. And you can see this blue and yellow color represents some type of rejection of the graft. And then this red color is the tacrolimus toxicity building up over time that can lead to neurotoxicity, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension. So far, tegoprubart has not shown any of those nasty side effects that tacrolimus can cause over time. This is the BESTOW trial that is going on right now. It's a kidney transplant trial, and these patients are on tegoprubart instead of tacrolimus. And their GFRs are in the 70 to 90 range, which is way better than the standard 50 with tacro patients. So with tegoprubart, you can see that graft survival is way higher versus tacrolimus in this graph here. and it doesn't contain any of the nasty side effects that tacrolimus has. So all of that is down the road a little bit as Vertex continues to explore alternatives to tacrolimus. But for right now, I am so happy for Bruno and that he does not have to take insulin. He is done with type 1 diabetes. I forgot to put this at the beginning, but make sure you go follow me on Crushing T1. That's where I will bring you all the important updates to type 1 diabetes research.